Greatness never begins with a loud announcement or a perfect plan. It starts quietly, deep inside you, with a spark that most people ignore. That spark is the fire within, the inner push that tells you there is more to your life than what you're settling for. To unlock that fire, you must first make the decision to stop living on autopilot. Most people wake up, repeat the same actions, think the same thoughts, and expect a new result. But greatness cannot grow in a comfort-driven routine. It develops when you become aware of the power you have buried inside you, and when you decide that you're done living small. Every human being carries a version of themselves that is stronger, sharper, wiser, and far more capable than the person they are today. The question is not whether that potential exists. The question is whether you are willing to do what it takes to meet that version of you. Unlocking the fire within begins with acknowledging that you are responsible for your life. Not your past, not your environment, not the mistakes you've made. You. The moment you accept this truth is the moment you stop waiting for motivation, approval, validation, or a perfect opportunity. You recognize that the power to change is in your hands, and that power is the ignition for greatness. The fire within is not built through easy choices. It grows through challenges. You must willingly walk into situations that force you to evolve. When you're comfortable, you're not growing. When you're avoiding difficulty, you're avoiding transformation. That fire comes to life the moment you push yourself beyond your limits, when you choose the workout even when you feel tired, when you stay disciplined even when you're unmotivated, when you stay committed even when nobody is watching. The hardest choices create the strongest version of you. And once you start choosing growth over comfort, discipline over laziness, action over excuses, you begin to feel that internal flame getting hotter, brighter, more alive. The fire within thrives when you set a vision for the person you want to become. Without vision, you wander through life reacting. But with vision, you move with purpose. You know your next step. You know why you wake up early, why you train hard, why you sacrifice, why you keep going. That vision connects you to your future self, the one who already achieved the goals you're chasing. Imagine that version of you. More disciplined, more successful, more confident, more focused. That version of you is not impossible. They are simply the result of consistent effort. But you must decide you're willing to close the gap between who you are and who you can be. And don't expect support from everyone. When you start chasing greatness, people will doubt you. Some will misunderstand your drive. Some will criticize your ambition. Some will try to pull you back to the version of you that made them feel comfortable. But the fire within doesn't need their approval. It needs your belief. It needs your commitment. Needs your willingness to keep moving when no one claps for you. The world may not see your potential yet, but that doesn't matter. You're not doing this to prove them wrong. You're doing it to prove yourself right. The journey to greatness is often lonely at first, but as long as that fire burns within you, you will not quit. One of the most important steps in unlocking the fire within is eliminating excuses. Excuses kill potential before it ever has a chance to grow. When you say, I can't, maybe later, I'm too tired, or I don't know how, you pour water on your own fire. Shift your mindset from excuses to ownership. Instead of I don't have time, say I will make time. Instead of I'm not good enough, say I am learning. Instead of I'm afraid, say I will act anyway. You don't need to be perfect to begin. You just need to start. And every time you choose action instead of excuses, your fire intensifies. The fire within also grows in silence. When you work on yourself, privately, reading, learning, training, thinking, improving, without broadcasting it to the world, you build inner strength. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to see progress others don't see yet. You begin to understand that greatness is not about applause, fame, or recognition. It's about who you become in the process. The strongest fire burns quietly before it ever becomes visible to others. When challenges hit, and they will, remember that adversity is fuel. Every obstacle you face gives you a choice. Let it weaken you or allow it to strengthen you. The strongest people are not those who avoid struggle, but those who use struggle to sharpen their character. Your pain can either destroy you or ignite you. When you choose to rise, to push, to fight, to stay disciplined despite the pressure, your fire becomes unbreakable. You no longer fear obstacles because you know they only make you stronger. And finally, unlocking the fire within is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. Every morning you wake up, you choose who you will be. You choose your attitude. You choose your effort. You choose your mindset. Greatness is built through thousands of small decisions, one day at a time. But once that fire within is lit, once you feel your own power, your own strength, your own potential, you will never want to go back to this version of yourself that settled for less. Chase your greatness with everything inside you. The fire is already there. You just have to unleash it. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in your life, but not because it is stronger than you, because you've given it permission to control you. Doubt, hesitation, and fear are not signals to stop. They are signals that you are standing on the edge of growth. Every dream you want, every level you haven't reached yet, every version of yourself that you haven lives on the other side of fear. Fear is not the enemy. Avoidance is. When you learn to turn fear into fuel, when you transform doubt into determination, you unlock a version of yourself that most people will never meet. Most people let fear dictate their future. They let the fear of failure stop them from even trying. They let the fear of judgment prevent them from standing out. They let the fear of discomfort keep them trapped in routines that suffocate their potential. But fear doesn't disappear when you hide from it. It grows. It gains strength. It becomes louder. That is why the first step in turning fear into your greatest weapon is to confront it head on. Whatever scares you reveals where you need to grow. Whatever makes you hesitate is pointing to the exact area where your breakthrough lies. Fear is not a wall. It is a mirror reflecting your next level. Doubt often shows up disguised as logic. It tells you to be realistic. It tells you to play safe. It tells you that you're not ready yet. But doubt is a liar. It whispers limitations based on your past, not your future. It tries to convince you that your mistakes define you. It tries to make you believe that where you are now is where you deserve to be. To destroy doubt, you must replace it with evidence, not wishful thinking, but consistent action. Every time you take a step forward, no matter how small, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Every repetition in the gym, every early morning you fight through, every task you complete despite not feeling motivated builds internal proof that you can trust yourself. Confidence is earned through action, not through waiting for the right moment. Fear becomes a weapon the moment you decide to use it as motivation instead of limitation. Most people run from fear. Successful people run toward it. When something scares you, it means it means it has the potential to change you. Imagine how different your life would be if you stopped avoiding the things that intimidate you and started chasing them. Every fear you conquer makes you more resilient. Every doubt you ignore makes you stronger. Every risk you take expands your life. Fear transforms from an enemy to an ally. When you recognize that its presence is proof you are moving in the right direction, turning fear into power also requires that you stop giving your attention to the opinions of others. So many dreams die because people are afraid of being judged. They fear criticism more than they fear regret. But understand this, people will always have something to say. Whether you succeed, fail, or do nothing, someone will talk. So why let their voices drown out your potential? The people who criticize you are often the ones who never tried. Their doubts reflect their own limitations, not yours. Let their negativity become fuel. Let their disbelief become motivation. Let their judgment sharpen your focus. You do not exist to satisfy the expectations of others. You exist to fulfill your purpose. Another powerful way to destroy doubt is to shift your relationship with failure. Failure is not a sign that you're not good enough. It's a sign you're trying to grow. The most successful people on the planet have failed more times than most people have ever tried. They understand that failure teaches clarity, strength, humility, and resilience. Every failure makes your vision sharper and your mind stronger. It exposes your weaknesses so you can develop them. Failures are stepping stones, not dead ends. When you stop fearing failure, you become unstoppable. You begin to understand that failure will not break you, but staying the same will. Fear becomes your weapon when you start taking action in its presence. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to move despite it. When you act while afraid, you train your mind to be stronger than your emotions. You teach your body to obey your vision, not your fears. Every step you take while scared rewires your brain for resilience. You start to trust your ability to handle pressure. You start to feel the pride of pushing through something most people would avoid. That pride becomes fuel. That fuel becomes momentum. And momentum creates transformation. Turning doubt into power also requires self-talk. How you speak to yourself in moments of pressure determines how you respond. When doubt says, "You can't," you must respond with, "Watch me." When fear whispers you're not ready, you say, "I will prepare." When uncertainty tries to freeze you, you whisper, "I will figure it out." Your words matter. Your inner voice can either break you or build you. The strongest people are not those who never hear doubt. They are the ones who refuse to believe it. The truth is, fear will always exist. Doubt will always appear. You will never reach a point where you feel completely comfortable, completely confident, completely ready. That is why greatness belongs only to the few who move despite fear, who chase their dreams with shaking hands, burning lungs, and a mind full of uncertainty, but a heart full of determination. Fear cannot stop someone who has decided that their dreams are non-negotiable. Doubt cannot defeat someone who continues to show up every day. So let fear push you. Let doubt challenge you. Let uncertainty sharpen your focus. Use fear as the fire that wakes you up early. Use doubt as the pressure that forces you to work harder. Use every intimidating moment as a chance to build strength. Once you learn to turn fear into fuel, nothing can hold you back. You stop running from your dreams and start chasing them with intensity. You stop listening to your insecurities and start listening to your ambition. You stop being a prisoner of fear and become a master. Your own mind. Fear is not your enemy. It is your guide. It is your coach. It is your greatest weapon if you choose to use it. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that motivation is not enough. Motivation is loud, exciting, emotional, but temporary. Discipline, on the other hand, is quiet, consistent, unshakable, and permanent. The truth is simple. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, if you want to rise above average, if you want to build a life that reflects power, strength, purpose, and growth, then you must choose discipline over comfort. Comfort is the silent killer of potential. It convinces you to stay the same while your goals demand you to evolve. Comfort tells you to rest when you should rise. Comfort tells you to stay seated when you should stand up. Comfort rewards you instantly but punishes you long term. Discipline punishes you instantly but rewards you for a lifetime. Most people love the idea of success, but few are willing to embrace the routines, sacrifices, and discomfort required to achieve it. Success is not built during the moments when you feel inspired. It is built during the moments when you feel nothing at all. When you're tired, unmotivated, overwhelmed, doubtful, or stressed, but you still show up. Discipline is showing up even when it's inconvenient. Discipline is doing the work even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is keeping the promises you made to yourself long after the excitement has faded. And every time you honor your commitment, you grow stronger. Every time you skip the excuse, you sharpen your mind. Every time you push through discomfort, you build a future that comfort could never give you. The truth is, comfort is your greatest threat because it feels good. Comfort convinces you that you have time. It whispers you can do it tomorrow. It tells you that the easy route is harmless. But every time you choose comfort, you weaken your discipline. You teach yourself that temporary pleasure is more important than long-term fulfillment. You start to settle. You start to shrink. Your goals get further away while you remain standing still. What separates the great from the average is not talent. It's their relationship with discomfort. Greatness belongs to the people who understand that discomfort is the path, not the obstacle. When you choose discipline over comfort, you break the chains that hold most people back. You rise before you feel ready. You work before you feel motivated. You train your mind to act regardless of your emotional state. And that is when you become dangerous, because most people are controlled by their feelings. They wait for perfect conditions before they take action. They rely on motivation instead of building systems. But the disciplined person moves with intention. They follow routines that strengthen the mind, sharpen the focus, and build momentum. Routines create consistency, and consistency creates results. Discipline is not about punishing yourself. It is about honoring your potential. When you choose discipline, you choose the highest version of yourself. Think about the difference between who you are now and who you could be. The gap between those two versions is filled with habits, actions, and choices you make every day. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to master the daily decisions that matter. Waking up on time, training when you don't want to, eating with intention, learning something new, staying consistent with your goals. Small disciplines repeated daily become massive transformations over time. Your future is hidden in your daily routine. Another truth about choosing discipline is that it frees you. Most people think discipline is restrictive, but in reality, it liberates you from regret, from inconsistency, from chaos, from lack of direction. Comfort traps you. Discipline elevates you. Comfort creates a life full of what-ifs. Discipline creates a life full of "I did it." Comfort makes you reactive. Discipline makes you proactive. When you are disciplined, you control your life instead of your life controlling you. There will always be days when the temptation to choose comfort is stronger. Days when your mind tries to negotiate, when your body feels heavy, when excuses begin to sound logical. On those days, discipline becomes your anchor. You must remind yourself why you started. You must reconnect with the pain of staying the same. You must understand that comfort only feels good in the moment, and that moment is not worth the life you want to build. Nobody reaches greatness by choosing what feels good now. They reach greatness by choosing what feels good later. Pride, accomplishment, success, confidence, strength, and fulfillment. Discipline also requires you to protect your environment. You cannot build a disciplined life in a chaotic environment. Surround yourself with people who push you, not those who encourage laziness. Remove distractions that steal your time and energy. Organize your space. Structure your day. Remove the clutter that keeps your mind overwhelmed. Discipline is not just about doing hard things, it's about designing a life Here, doing the right things becomes natural. Create systems that support your goals. Build habits that make your focus automatic. A disciplined environment leads to a disciplined life. One of the most powerful aspects of choosing discipline over comfort is the identity shift that happens. When you consistently show up even on the hardest days, you start to see yourself differently. You begin to trust yourself more. You start to believe in your ability to handle difficulty. You stop viewing yourself as someone who gives up easily and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through no matter what. That identity shift is life-changing. Once you see yourself as a disciplined person, your entire world evolves because your decisions begin to match your identity. Choosing discipline does not mean you eliminate rest or joy from your life. It means you earn them. It means you structure your life in a way that allows you to enjoy pleasure without guilt. Discipline makes pleasure sweeter because you know you've earned it. Comfort without discipline leads to emptiness. Discipline followed by comfort leads to fulfillment. At the end of the day, discipline is not a punishment. It is a GI. You give yourself. It is the foundation that supports your dreams. It is the fuel behind every transformation. It is the difference between wishing for a better life and building one. Comfort will try to convince you to settle. But discipline will remind you that you are capable of more. You must decide which voice you will obey. When you choose discipline over comfort, you choose your future over your feelings. You choose growth over stagnation. You choose strength over weakness. You choose greatness over mediocrity. And once discipline becomes a part of who you are, there is nothing in this world you cannot achieve. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has walked through seasons of failure, disappointment, heartbreak, and struggle. Nobody becomes strong by avoiding pain. Nobody becomes successful by escaping difficulty. True strength is built when life knocks you down and you choose again and again to get back up. Rising from failure is not just about recovering from a setback, it's about transforming because of it. Every difficult moment carries a message, and only those willing to face the discomfort will receive the lesson. When you rise from failure, you don't return as the same person. You return wiser, tougher, more focused, and more prepared for the journey ahead. Failure has a way of revealing the truth about who you are. It exposes weaknesses but also highlights strengths you didn't know you had. It forces you to confront your excuses, your bad habits, your fears, and your comfort zones. Most people run from failure because it bruises the ego. It makes them feel embarrassed, unworthy, or defeated. But that mindset keeps them trapped. The strongest people in the world look at failure differently. They see it as information. They see it as feedback. They see it as a sign that they are trying something meaningful. When you rise from failure, you tell yourself that the setback didn't define you. The comeback will. Greatness demands resilience. It demands the ability to take punches and keep moving forward. Life will test you. People will let you down. Plans will fall apart. You will make mistakes. You will miscalculate. You will lose opportunities. You will feel frustrated, tired, angry, and sometimes hopeless. But those moments are not the end. They are the beginning of your transformation. Every struggle is preparing you for who you're becoming. When you refuse to quit in the face of difficulty, you build a kind of strength that cannot be taught. It must be earned. Rising from failure requires humility. You must be willing to admit what went wrong without letting it destroy your identity. You must be honest enough to take responsibility for the parts you controlled and brave enough to let go of the parts you didn't. Blaming others keeps you powerless. Accepting your role empowers you. When you take ownership of your life, you gain the ability to reshape it. Failure becomes a teacher, not a jailer. The key is to shift your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" Ask, what is this trying to teach me? Instead of thinking, I failed, think, this didn't work. What can I do better? Instead of saying, it's over, say, this is where I rebuild stronger. That mental shift is what separates those who stay broken from those who rise. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of the process. Every success story is built on a foundation of failures that were used as stepping stones rather than stopping points. Sometimes the world will see your failure, and sometimes it will be invisible. Something you battle privately. The private failures are often the most painful because you face them alone. But private failures also create the deepest strength. When you fall and there's no one to catch you, you learn to catch yourself. You learn to rely on your inner strength. You learn to trust your resilience, and that trust becomes unshakable. One of the most powerful aspects of rising from failure is that it builds character. Failure forces you to grow in patience, discipline, emotional toughness, and clarity. It makes you question what you truly want and what you're willing to sacrifice for it. It clears away the illusions and exposes your real priorities. Sometimes failure is the universe's way of redirecting you to something better, something aligned with your purpose. Sometimes things fall apart so something stronger can be built in their place. Failure also teaches you about perseverance. Anyone can continue when everything is going well. Anyone can stay focused when the path is clear. But perseverance is proven when the future is uncertain, when the results are slow, when progress feels invisible, when motivation disappears, and you still choose to move forward. That choice, repeated over time, is what turns an average person into a champion. The people who rise are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who never stay down. When you rise from failure, you become an example. People around you see your resilience. They see your determination. They see your refusal to surrender. Your comeback becomes a quiet form of leadership. You inspire others not by talking about strength, but by showing it. And your own self-belief grows because you have lived through something that tried to break you, and it didn't. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. But rising doesn't happen automatically. It requires effort. It requires getting up when your body wants to stay down, trying again when your mind says it's pointless, believing in yourself when results give you every reason not to. Rising requires rebuilding your habits, your mindset, your routines, and your focus. It requires cutting out distractions, tightening your discipline, and committing to your vision with even greater intensity. It requires courage. Courage to start again, courage to be vulnerable, courage to face the possibility of failing again. And yes, you might fail again, but you will also grow again. You will learn again. You will get better again. Each time you rise, you become stronger, more aware, more skilled, more battle-tested. Eventually, the things that once broke you become things you can handle with confidence. The challenges that once terrified you become challenges you can face with power. The failures that once discouraged you become the foundation of your success. The greatest comeback stories are not about people who never fell. They are about people who refuse to stay down. Your failures are not final. Your setbacks are not permanent. You still have strength inside you that you haven't even discovered yet. Rise from your struggle, rise from your pain, rise from your past, and rise into the person you were always meant to become. Your story is far from over. The best chapters begin the moment you stand back up. Your life is not shaped by what you occasionally do. It is shaped entirely by what you repeatedly do. The small choices you make every single day become the habits that form your identity, your mindset, your future, and ultimately your destiny. Most people underestimate the power of their daily routine. He thinks success comes from one massive breakthrough, one lucky opportunity, or one powerful burst of motivation. But the truth is far simpler and far more demanding. Your daily habits are building your future even when you don't realize it. Every day, you are either moving closer to the life you want or drifting further away from it, and the difference lies in the routines you choose to follow. Your habits are like seeds. At first, nothing seems to happen. You might wake up early for a few days, work out for a week, read a few pages, save a little money, or focus on your goals for a short time, and it feels like nothing is changing. That's why so many people quit early. They expect instant results. But habits don't reward you immediately, they reward you exponentially. Just like seeds planted beneath the soil, your habits grow in silence before they ever show visible results. And one day, the results arrive all at once. A fitter body, a sharper mind, a stronger mindset, more discipline, more confidence, more success. They all come from daily consistency, not occasional effort. To master your routine, you must begin by understanding that habits are created through identity. When you tell yourself, I want to be disciplined, you might act disciplined temporarily. But when you tell yourself, I am disciplined, your actions begin to align with your identity. Your mind follows your self-belief. That is why the most powerful people don't just do disciplined things. They see themselves as disciplined individuals. They don't just chase success. They embody the mindset of someone destined for success. Your habits must be rooted in who you believe you are becoming. A powerful routine begins with your mornings. How you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. If you wake up with intention, energy, and purpose, you carry that strength into every task. But if you start your day with laziness, distractions, chaos, or negativity, you spend the rest of the day trying to recover. That's why your morning routine is one of the most important parts of your daily habits. Even something as simple as waking up on time, hydrating, spending a few minutes in silence, setting your goals, or moving your body can transform the entire direction of your day. Your morning routine is not about perfection. It's about alignment. But habits aren't just built in the morning. They're built through the micro decisions you make all day long. Every time you choose the difficult but right decision, you reinforce the identity of someone who is strong. Every time you choose the easy but destructive decision, you reinforce the identity of someone who is inconsistent. You must become the type of person who chooses long-term rewards over short-term pleasure. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's life-changing. One of the most important elements of mastering your routine is eliminating the habits that drain your energy. You can't build a powerful life while holding on to weak routines, excessive screen time, oversleeping, procrastination, complaining, blaming others, scrolling mindlessly, unhealthy eating, avoiding responsibilities. These habits quietly kill your potential, and they don't destroy your life all at once. They destroy it slowly, silently, day by day. To become the best version of yourself, you must replace destructive patterns with empowering ones. Replace scrolling with reading. Replace excuses with action. Replace doubt with discipline. Replace negativity with gratitude. Replace comfort with growth. Consistency is the backbone of habit formation. Anyone can be disciplined for a day. Anyone can be motivated for a week. But the greatest transformations come from why? Who do over months and years. That's why you must fall in love with the process. If you rely on motivation, you will fail. If you rely on discipline and systems, you will succeed. Set specific times to work on your goals. Remove distractions from your environment. Make your routine so strong that skipping it feels uncomfortable. When your habits become automatic, your success becomes inevitable. Another powerful truth about habits is that your environment influences your routine more than your willpower does. You cannot expect to live a focused, disciplined life in an environment full of temptation, negativity, or chaos. You must structure your surroundings to support your goals, clean your space, organize your tools, surround yourself with people who push you instead of people who pull you back. Spend time with individuals who have the habits you want to develop. Energy is contagious. Choose your surroundings wisely. Your habits also shape your mindset. When you repeatedly take action, even small action, you train your mind to believe you are capable. You build confidence not by thinking positively, but by proving to yourself that you can follow through. Every completed routine is a psychological victory. Every day you stick to your habits strengthens your self-belief. And self-belief is the most powerful force in your success. When you trust yourself, you become unstoppable. Over time, your routine becomes your armor. When life becomes stressful, your habits keep you grounded. When motivation disappears, your routines carry you forward. When challenges arise, your discipline becomes your strength. The world becomes more predictable when your habits are consistent. You no longer react to life. You shape it. The beautiful thing about habits is that you don't need to be perfect. You only need to be consistent. If you miss a day, you start again. If you fall off track, you realign. The goal is not to never slip. The goal is to never quit. As long as you return to your routine, you are still growing. You are still evolving. You are still moving closer to your future. In the end, mastering your daily habits is the most powerful form of self-respect. It is proof that you value your future more than your comfort. It is proof that you are committed to becoming the strongest version of yourself. Your dreams depend on your routine. Your future depends on your routine. Your greatness depends on your routine. Who you are tomorrow is created by what you do today. Build habits that match the life you want, and that life will eventually become your reality. Greatness is not something that appears overnight, nor is it something that arrives at your doorstep because you wish for it. Greatness is chased, hunted, worked for, sacrificed for, and earned through relentless dedication. To chase your greatness relentlessly means refusing to settle for average, refusing to shrink to fit the expectations of others, and refusing to let your circumstances dictate your destiny. It means waking up every day with the mindset that you are in a battle with your weaker self, the part of you that wants to quit, that wants comfort, that wants distraction, and choosing to defeat that version of you again and again. Greatness demands nothing less than your highest level of commitment. Most people say they want greatness, but very few are willing to chase it with intensity. They want the glory without the grind, the recognition without the responsibility, the success without the sacrifice. But greatness cannot be achieved halfway. It does not respond to a casual effort or a half-hearted attempt. It responds only to those who show up with consistency, hunger, and determination. When you chase greatness relentlessly, you're choosing to push past the limits that most people never dare to approach. You're choosing to stretch yourself beyond comfort, beyond excuses, beyond fear, and beyond your own self-doubt. Chasing greatness begins with understanding your purpose. You must know what you want and why you want it. Without purpose, you drift. Without direction, your actions lose power. But when you know your purpose, deeply, clearly, emotionally, you unlock a source of fuel that cannot be extinguished. Purpose makes you disciplined when you feel tired. It keeps you focused when distractions appear. It keeps you strong when challenges hit. When your purpose is strong, your excuses become weak. Your vision becomes your internal engine, driving you even when the road becomes difficult. To chase greatness relentlessly, you must also accept that the journey will be uncomfortable. In fact, discomfort is proof that you are growing. If everything feels easy, you're not evolving, you're stagnating. Greatness requires you to embrace difficulty as part of the process. The early mornings, the long nights, the sacrifices, the setbacks, the lonely moments, these are not obstacles, they are necessary ingredients. You cannot reach the top without climbing. You cannot build strength without resistance. You cannot become exceptional by doing what is easy. Once you embrace discomfort as a requirement, not a punishment, you begin to unlock the mindset of winners. Another important truth is that greatness does not chase you, you must chase it. Every moment you spend hesitating, doubting, procrastinating, or avoiding the work pushes your goals further away. But every moment you choose action, you close the gap. The relentless pursuit of greatness is not about intensity for a day or a week. It's about consistency for years. It's about making small sacrifices that compound over time. It's about choosing discipline over distraction, effort over excuses, and progress over perfection. When you chase greatness relentlessly, you must also be willing to separate yourself from people who don't share your vision. Not everyone will understand your drive, your ambition, your hunger. Some will question you. Some will criticize you. Some will try to pull you back down because your growth challenges their comfort. But greatness requires you to protect your mindset. Surround yourself with people who elevate you, not those who drain you. Surround yourself with people who chase their own greatness because their energy will feed yours. Your environment influences your ambition. And if you want to build a powerful life, you must surround yourself with powerful influences. Greatness also requires you to trust the process, even when results are slow. Many people quit because they don't see progress right away. But greatness is built quietly, behind the scenes, through repeated effort that eventually compounds. You cannot plant seeds today and expect to harvest tomorrow. You must water them day after day, long before anything blooms. You must trust that every repetition, every disciplined decision, every early morning, every late night, every moment, effort is pushing you toward the life you want, even if the progress is invisible for a while. Patience is a weapon. Consistency is a weapon. Relentlessness is a weapon. Chasing greatness also requires humility. You must be willing to learn, to improve, to adapt, to fail, and to rise again. Greatness is not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You will make mistakes. You will face setbacks. You will feel discouraged at times. But relentless people don't quit when things get hard. They become even more focused. They use failure as feedback, not a final judgment. They adjust, refine, and attack again with even more determination. That's what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. One of the most important aspects of chasing greatness is competing with the person you were yesterday. Do not compare yourself to others. Compare yourself only to your previous self. Are you stronger than you were last week? Are you more disciplined than you were last month? Are you more focused than you were last year? That is the real competition. Greatness comes when you stop chasing validation from others and start chasing improvement within yourself. Finally, chasing greatness relentlessly means refusing to settle. No matter how much you achieve, you keep going. No matter how far you've come, you understand there is always more to give, more to learn, more to build. Greatness is a journey without an end point. It's a lifestyle, a mindset, a commitment. It's the decision to wake up every day and choose the highest version of yourself. Not once, not sometimes. Every day. You were not born to be average. You were born with potential, purpose, and power. Chase your greatness with everything you have. Chase it with fire, hunger, intensity, and courage. Chase it until the world has no choice but to recognize your strength. Chase it until the person you are becomes someone you once only dreamed of being. Greatness is waiting, but you must run toward it with relentless determination.